Welcome to the latest episode of Platform Podcast. Today's guest is Alex Sams. If you've been following the Chance of Rain series by Carter LeBlanc, you will be more than familiar with Alex's skating. He has two brilliant sections, both in Chance of Rain 3 and Chance of Rain 4. If you have not seen Chance of Rain 4, it is unbelievable. The objects he skates, the obstacles he creates, it's unlike anything else that anyone skates. The only other people that I would think would skate the stuff that he does are people like Pat Lennon or Michael Broad, because he finds stuff that is so unappealing, so difficult, so dangerous, and just puts his mark all over it. More recently, he had a section in Illegal Smiles, which I think came out last year, and once again, it was amazing. He is doing grind from chains to handrails, grinding off roofs, grinding on support beams that come through floors, just these spots that most people would walk by and not even attempt or think of attempting to skate. And Alex just finds a way to absolutely finesse them and do it with style. He doesn't do just sketchy tricks on these bizarre obstacles. He properly goes to town on them. Alex is sponsored by several brands, including TNEC, Deal With It SF, and most recently he's been picked up by Blank by Rollerblade. He actually put out a section not too long ago where he did a very, very cool topsole 360 topsole transfer from like a loading bay to this kind of metal edged thing. And he also topsoled off an upturned boat that was on a roof, if that makes sense. So he managed to combine grinding on a really unique obstacle with making it as dangerous as possible by adding a lot of height. I'm really looking forward to talking to Alex. I've enjoyed his sections for years. We've kind of had a bit of back and forth on social media, just kind of touching base and exchanging kind of pleasantries here and there, but it'll be nice to actually sit down and get to know him better. I know that he lives in Seattle, but he's had quite a journey to get there, so I can't wait to talk about that, talk about the brands that he's sponsored by, his unique approach to skating, the brilliant scene that he's a part of with Jake Dotson and Josiah Blee and the Christensen brothers and all those guys, because they are all very, very talented skaters. Before that though, cue the music.
Yo,
Worked first time. That almost never
dude,
happens.
I have no idea what I'm doing with Zoom, so that's fantastic.
So you weren't a lockdown baby that had Zoom quizzes and Zoom group chats while your friends, no?
Oh no. I worked the entire pandemic, so that was yeah. I worked the entire time. I think this is the first time, maybe the second time I've ever used Zoom in my life.
Okay. What were you doing for work that you had to work during coronavirus?
So I work at like this like bougie grocery store,
Right.
and it's like a pretty high-end, expensive grocery store. And
Okay.
yeah, so as you can imagine, during the pandemic, it was like not only did I work, but I worked my ass off because it was like four times the customers like during the pandemic, because people were like panic shopping during the start. At least they were like, oh my gosh, like we have to like load our shopping carts full and like get as much as we can before we're in lockdown kind of thing.
Yep. We need all the bread now. Yeah. Toilet
For
rolls.
sure. For sure. It was a lot, but I got through it.
Right. Okay. Are you still working there now?
hmm Unfortunately, but
Okay.
we'll get through it. It's just like a stepping stone. I'll figure out the next path next. I don't know.
All right. Fair enough. We'll talk about more interesting things than a day job. congratulations on your new sponsor. That's
Oh,
got to,
thank you.
that's got to take you up to 3 sponsors now, right?
I believe so. I don't know. Like there's Deal With It,
Mm-hmm.
there's Blank, and then there's TNEC, which I don't know if I'm like officially like on the team or whatever, but they've
I
been
mean,
flowing me shit. So like
if
shout out to
if they're sending you free stuff, you're sponsored because
okay, cool.
that's about as good as it gets.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah,
So,
it's
sorry,
oh,
what were you
sorry.
gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, shout out to TNEC because like they've been sending me like honestly, they've sent me multiple frames to test out. Like it's been fantastic. Like they like any time I need like a new set of frames, they just send it through. So it's been super sick.
Yeah, I've interviewed Duran before, and he comes across like a really nice guy. Plus, I also tried the frames recently. I got the Michael Craft ones, and they were very good. They were very good.
Oh yeah, those are so sick, man. I'm loving those.
Um, so yeah, right. So, how did things come about with Blank? Because they, I mean, they don't sponsor many people.
Well, uh like one day, like I've always skated Rosies or whatever, but
Hmm.
one day Cameron hit me up and on Instagram and he was like, "Yo, dude, like, would you ever try out Blank?" Like, and I was like, "Well, like, sure. Like, why wouldn't I? Like, I have no like tie downs to anything." So I was like, "Yeah, I'll fucking try that out." And he was like, "All right, I'll send you a pair of skates, see how you like them, and then we'll go from there." And that's pretty much how it started. So I
And when was that? When did he first get in contact?
think that was like 8 months ago or so, like, or
Right.
maybe more. I don't know. I'm really bad with timing, but yeah, he just like randomly hit me up in the DM and was like, "Would you try Blank Skates?" And I was like, "Yeah." I mean, like, yeah. I don't know. I just ended up trying them out, and yeah, they're great so far.
I was about to say, what's that like going jumping from because you were skating M12s for years, unless we go way back, and you were skating Valos, which were basically just M12s with giant sole plates. What was it? What was it like switching from M12, which is very skinny and one of the smallest sole plates in the market, if not the smallest sole plate in the market, to skating the blank, which is nothing alike.
Honestly, like it wasn't that big of a transition. Like when I like posted that I was like getting Blank Skates, multiple people DM me and they were like, "Yo, that's gonna be like a weird switch up. Like it's like the polar opposite kind of thing." But I'm not like very skate technical. Like I'll just skate whatever the fuck like comes my way. So it was like
Right.
it I didn't notice much, to be honest. Like I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Like I just didn't
Even with
notice
like
much.
the bigger sole plate and like the heel pad and stuff, because M12s don't have a heel pad.
I mean that yeah, for sure. Like the sole plate's fantastic compared to the M12. Like that was great. Like much more like space to lock in. The heel pad, yeah, I think I did notice that. Like I was leaning forward a lot more, but yeah, I don't know. Like I whatever. Like I don't know.
Right. Okay. I mean,
I
fair
don't really
enough.
like I'm not very like I don't know, like I'll use whatever I get to me. Like I've always gotten like hand-me-downs and shit, so
Okay.
I'm
So
used to it.
you
Like
don't
whatever comes
really
my way.
right. You don't really nerd out on like skate technology and like dialing in your setup. You're just like, ah, whatever keeps me
Yeah,
going.
whatever.
I'll deal with
Yeah.
this.
I will say though the soul plate is nice.
Right.
Like I kind of wish I would have experimented more with like maybe like putting a Valo soul plate on the Rosies or something. Like a bigger soul plate on the roasties would have been fantastic. Uh, Multiple people told me to do that, but I'm stubborn and I just want to skate. Like I don't care really about, I don't know what skate it is. I just
Right.
want to skate. I don't know. It's
Actually, that's quite funny because that reminds me because obviously Carter LeBlanc used to like when he lived relatively nearby and like used to like film you guys all the time. He was skating around in an M12 with a was that an SSM sole plate?
yeah, he was all about those. He would always like stock up on them. Like he would
Yeah,
find ways to get all the SSM soul
I
plates
remember that
available.
because
Yeah.
yeah, I remember him talking about his various setups and like hoarding the sole plates. Yeah. Um, so obviously everyone's been talking about Blank recently because Sean Keane's no longer on the team. Like, did you find out about that with everyone else, or did like Tom send round an internal message to everyone to be like, look, this is what's happening? Or like, did you find out about it like everyone else with Sean's Instagram post?
I knew this was coming. I knew this was
I
coming.
mean, you're on the team. You got to ask what you guys think.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's funny because like Tom didn't send an email around. Like, I don't know anything about anything to be honest with you. Yeah, it's hard to say. Like, I found out, I think, like at the same time everyone else did, and it's a bummer because like Sean Keane was one of the main reasons I wanted to be on Blank. Like, that was the reason I like kind of one of the main reasons I agreed to like join the team.
Okay.
It was because Sean Keane. I fucking love his skating. He's
Same.
one of my
Yeah.
favorites. I've never actually met him, but it's seriously kind of like devastating to hear that news. And like when I heard that, I was kind of like in shock, like, to be honest. So yeah, there was no like email to the team saying, "Hey, just to let you know, like Sean, we're gonna let Sean go." Like it was just kind of like sporadic.
Right.
As far as I know, like
Yeah.
yeah,
Because that was my when I saw you got on and then you had your introduction section coming out, I was like, nice. And then Sean announced that and then said it was because of budget cuts, and I was like, oh man, this is really horrible luck. If like
I know.
you and Chris Calkins and these guys are getting put on and like getting flowed skates, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, budget cuts, we're taking it all back, we're cutting it down. Because I know that they apparently they got rid of like their Spanish team, someone was saying, and like other people had been let go as well, and I was like, oh, that's kind of horrible luck if you finally get a chance and then it's just like taken away.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard about that. I saw that in the comments. Like I forget who it was, but someone said they let go of the Spanish team. And yeah, I hadn't heard anything about that. And then it was just like the worst timing. Like honestly the worst timing. Like that I could have gotten on. Like it's like right away. And, like I was actually kind of like self-conscious about that. I was like, oh man, maybe people think that like I'm trying to take Sean's place, which I could never because
Yeah.
that man is a legend. I'm nothing compared to that dude. And I promise you, like I know nothing about it. I had nothing to do with it. And it's a bummer because I love that guy and I don't even know him, but I know that he's a sick human.
So you guys never crossed paths when Carter LeBlanc made a section of him
Yeah,
in, oh, was it in Portland or Seattle though?
it was in Seattle and that was I didn't live here at the time.
Right.
I had moved away, and yeah, that was like I guess a summer where Sean had come to visit and just like spent a week or so with Carter and them and like filmed that sick ass edit, which I don't know
Yeah.
how you film that in a week. Like,
Yeah, it was very good. Yeah.
yeah.
All right, okay. So and like with the deal with the SF and the like TNEC stuff, how did they just like both reach out to you, or like what was the situation there?
Deal with it. I feel like yeah, Matt reached out to me and Matthew, the owner, and yeah, he's just reached out to me and he was like, "Hey man, do you want to ride?" for us. And I saw that Danny Mom ride for them.
Yeah,
So I was like,
they've
fuck
got
yeah, I'm
they've
down.
got some good riders. Yeah,
Yeah, dude, shout out Danny Mom, by the way. Like that guy is incredible. Like,
he's one of my favorite skaters from America right now. Like everything he puts out is so insanely good. Yeah.
until you see it in person though, it's I went on a trip with him with Ian Walker, uh JT Truitt, Josiah, just just a heavy crew.
Was
And
this
we went
for
to
was this for Crazy Pills or for Dreamboat?
no, for Dreamboat. Yeah.
Dreamboat.
It's like the first half of Dreamboat, and I went on a trip with them to Pittsburgh and like met up with Sam Askin, who lives out there, and we had the time of our lives. But Danny Malm is one of the most professional skaters I've ever met in my life, and like I mean that like that motherfucker is unreal. Like when you watch it in person, it changes everything. Like yeah, that dude has so much motivation. It's inspiring. Like, yeah, I'm not a professional. That guy is a professional. I'll tell you that much.
Right.
But
He
when I
does.
heard
Yeah.
that he was on Deal With It, I was down for it. So that was all I needed to hear is like, yeah, he had that edit with Deal With It, the night edit. It's fantastic. I think it was Taylor Coburn or
Yeah.
someone
Pretty
that
sure it's Taylor that made it. Yeah.
yeah. And yeah, that's all I needed to see. Like they're fantastic. And yeah, I fully support that company. They're the best. Matthew's the best. He's been sending me hella shit. Like, yeah, and yeah, who else? TNEC
TNEC, yeah.
is fantastic. I think yeah, they reached out. I don't know if I reached out to them or they reached out to me, but they've been sending me frames since the beginning, and I've been testing them out. And it's funny because I've always skated anti,
Okay.
and until TNEC, yeah, like ever since he sent me those frames, I just switched over and it's been a smooth transition. Like I don't notice anything. Like I literally don't. Like it just feels like pretty much like skating anti. Like that's how good the fucking frames are. And I'm not trying to like advertise the frames, but they're great.
Yeah. It's yeah. There was I've tried flat a bunch of times, and then it's only when you actually find the right frame for your one that works that you're like, oh, I'm no longer afraid or like worried about like catching or like committing to, I don't know, a bigger obstacle or whatever. So when you actually find, I mean, there's quite a few amazing flat frame options on the market now, but yeah, when you find one that works for you, you're like, okay, right, this makes life easier because where you guys skate appears to have just as shitty ground as Scotland. And it feels like you hunt out the worst spots. So I imagine having 8 wheels rolling on them rather than just four makes life a little bit easier.
It's kind of crazy because it does. And I was always scared to switch over to flat. Like, to be honest, like I got a lot of shit, and I'm not gonna say from who, but there were particular people that reached out to me in DMs and were like, nothing you've ever done counts because you get anti.
That, oh,
I know. I got the shit and that got in my head for a while. But yeah, I don't know. So I finally switched over to flat once he sent me those frames. And I was worried because wheel bite on like the kind of shit, like the kind of skating I do. Like if you're doing like a roof to ledge or something, like you don't want to catch wheel bite.
you do not
And
know.
it's kind of crazy. Like I haven't noticed much. It's been fine. And yeah, I kind of stand by those frames, honestly. And they're fantastic.
I
Like
mean,
the fact that I went from anti my entire life to that, like,
yeah.
and have no struggles really, like, it's great.
And if you can alley out porn star off a roof on them, then they've got to work. So
Oh, it works. Yeah, it's fantastic.
what section was that? Illegal Smiles or Transfer Rain 4? Oh.
The alley porn off the roof.
Yeah, it was like
That
your
was illegal
illegal
smiles.
smiles. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I was
like a
like,
shitty
that,
wood ledge.
yeah, I was like, that is not the trick to try on that spot. Actually, I wouldn't even. It looks that wood looks as if you could just stick and just drop to your death. Yeah,
It's funny
alley
because
porn
it's
star
like
would not have been the choice.
it's actually like that was like the chillest trick I can think of. Like for me, that's like kind of like a safety trick in a way.
Right.
I don't know because you're just yeah. I don't see myself like catching on that. Like I don't know. I have more tricks for that spot, so that's coming.
God, right. Well,
I have some serious tricks for that spot actually.
I really hope that goes well because that's not something you want to miss or stick on. Yeah. Ooh. Um, so I was kind of like when I heard because I know that you were in the last two Chance of Rain videos, especially your Chance of Rain 4 section. That was just actually let's just talk about that first because that was the biggest surprise in that whole video. I was like, I'd seen your section before, and I felt like there was a lot of like similar tricks in it, like a lot of top souls, a lot of fish brains, like you love an alley porn star. And then Chance Rain 4 came out, and I was like, every see when you watch some people's sections and you're like, man, that spot looks fun. I'd love to skate that, or oh god, they're so lucky. I watch your sections, and I'm like, I don't want to skate any of these spots. They all look disgusting. They all look so hard and like awkward and so easy to hurt yourself. And you just seem to gravitate towards that stuff. Even all the chain stuff, it looks like you set up a chain over a mud pit connected to a truck. Like that was not there originally. That looks like you put that there. So you intentionally set yourself up to skate over a mud bath and you went into it at one point.
Yeah, I'm glad you like did your research. That's funny.
Like as soon as I saw that, I was like, that first off, how you would find that, I was like, that doesn't make sense. But then I noticed in the back of the clip that it was attached to like it looked like yeah, like a small mini truck or car or something. I was like, they've done that. Why would you set that up? Why would you not set it up over dry ground?
Yeah. Well, that particular case was that was actually JT's idea,
Right.
and which is it's bizarre, but like yeah, like I so before that I had already done the zigzag chain that you see as like the
The
I
one
have
going
like
down
a
the stair set that you like transferred. Was it like Alepso to something or something to Alepso?
yeah, it was like soul bash into Ali soul,
Yeah.
and that right there was a collaborative effort between me, Carter, and Avery, and like I had been trying to figure out a way to like put a chain, like because basically, let's be real, this all comes from Dunkel, Chris
Okay.
Haffey. Like we got to shout out the people that like originated the spot, but I'm not gonna find those spots in the wild. So, I mean, you may, but that was my logic. Was like one day I think I was like jokingly like, oh well, what if we make that spot like so I literally like that's what I did. Like the zigzag chain thing, like the stat chain was actually connected already there. So I like literally just like pulled the chain, which was like hella long, all the way down the set. And then I had it originally just down the set straight. But then Carter was like, what if you wrap it and zigzag it? So it was like a collaborative effort of the minds. And then
Okay.
that's when I was like, holy shit, that could work. And then it was a little loose. So then I think I like attached like a carabiner or something to the chain and then to Carter's car to make it more
Right.
taut. And I know that sounds bizarre, but that's what we did. And it was fantastic and it worked amazingly. And I know that like some people have like some people are like, oh, it's weird to adapt a spot and like add that. But to me, I'm like, well, I can't find it in nature, so I'm just gonna make it myself.
I mean, yeah, it's no different to what Pat Lennon used to do. Pat was like, I can't find this stuff in the wild, so I'm just gonna hook it up myself. Yeah.
Exactly. And yeah, so I made that. It worked amazing. And like this was all during Transferring 4, so it was like a weird like phase where me and Carter were like bonding on this shit. Like we were like, well, how many fucking chain spots can we make then?
That's what I was
And
wondering. I was like, are you guys just driving around with a chain in the back, just looking for anything and everything? Because there were like multiple spots that you guys basically built in that section.
yeah, that's literally it. Like I was just trying to figure out like the craziest like setups I could make. So like I did the zigzag, which I was super fucking hyped on. And then it came pretty easy too, like which was shocking. And then I was like, well, what else can I do? And then I got kind of like obsessed about it, like how I do with spots. I'm like, I got so fucking obsessed. So then I like started just like, I'll be at work and I'm just like thinking all day long. I'm like, what can I do? Like, how can I make this even crazier? And then I think after that actually came, I think the roof to chain. And that was during a time in my life where I was going through some like fucked up life shit. So I was like, I'm just like ready to just do something fucked. Like it was like that particular day was really fucked. And we didn't go to the spot to like do that. Like I like while the other people were handling the business, like Avery was getting a sick ass clip on the other side. I think Dustin had gotten something that day, Dustin Spangler. And I was like, well, I always like kind of stray away and like look for something and try to figure something out on like, while they're getting their shit. And so I like saw this roof and then I was like, well, maybe I can put this chain off this roof to the fucking pole down below. And that's how that came about. And then when I told like the boys, they of course were like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Like that. Like honestly, like a lot of the times they're like, "Your ideas are too bizarre." Like they support it, but they're like, "Dude, what? Like, what do you like? What's going on?" Like it's hard. Like I have to like convince them that it's gonna be sick. Like just let me do this. Just trust me.
Yeah. I mean,
And we hooked it up, and it fucking worked out, man. It like I did it, and that was like probably one of my favorite tricks I've ever done in my life.
I mean, you styled it out. It didn't look even remotely sketchy. In fact, you were kind of almost, yeah, you were like nice and like low and balanced on it. But I was just like, how are your friends not just standing at the bottom being like, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure? Like,
Yeah.
what if the chain snaps? What if it like comes loose? What if like, like there's a lot that can go wrong here. This is not
No,
grinding.
I think
This
they
this is not
were.
grinding a handrail or like jumping off a roof. This has like variables. That yeah.
I think they were like kind of used to like my spot selection, and they're like, dude, like everything you do is kind of like abstract or bizarre. It's kind of like too much. Like especially like Josiah, like he's a more conventional skater, but like incredible at what he does.
Yeah.
But it's like they're gonna be like, dude, like what? Like what are you doing right now? But yeah, I don't know. Like they were at the bottom and they probably were a little worried. And I definitely did do the worst case scenario on that one. Like I went straight to my ribs off that roof to the chain. Like pretty much right away. And yeah, and then I just like kind of just took it and then just got back up and then did it. Like it's crazy because there was a ladder already sitting there waiting to put on the roof. So it's like, why wouldn't I do that? It's like
It's a
all the
sign. It's a sign. Someone wants me. Someone wants me to do this.
literally, it's like it's weird. Like it's like the spot will speak to you. And that's the only time I do something nowadays. It's like if the spot speaks to you, like you don't just do something to do it. You have to make sure that like the spot speaks to you. And that's why I like, maybe back in the day I would just like jump off roofs for fun or whatever. But nowadays, like the spot has to give me the idea before, you know what I mean? Like I don't
Yeah.
just seek it out necessarily.
I
But
kind of
yeah,
feel like,
so
yeah, because you were mentioning Josiah and how like he skates. I feel like Josiah skates session spots and puts his own mark on them by being so unbelievably technical. Like one of the best like technical grinders there are. Whereas I feel like you're like, no, I want one and done spots. I want a spot where I go there. There is only one trick, and that's it. We get it. We're out of there. Or you mention you do it, and then you're like, wait a minute. Now that I've done it, I feel like I could probably go back and like one up that, or like
right.
it's not a thing that you're just like dropping trick after trick on it. You're like, no, we get the thing, and that's it.
I'll tell you why. It's because when you skate with people like Josiah and Jake Dotson and James Truitt, it's like, what do? You have to do, like, you have to think outside the box
Yeah,
because I'm simply not on that level that they are. And I like, that's why I have to think outside the box. And that's why you'll see me like doing like a chain off a roof or like some bizarre, obscure thing. It's because, for one, that appeals to me, but also, yeah, I can't compete with those guys. Those guys are true professionals, and yeah, it's inspiring. So I just want to like hang with those boys. So
right. I mean, it makes sense. Also, I would not like to compete against any of those with with those technical like switch ups and grinds and stuff like that. Actually, that kind of now that you've said that, it makes me wonder if Josiah and Jake have ever played a game of Blade against each other. Have you ever witnessed them like go head to head?
uh, I feel like it's happened before, but I don't. That'd be really good to watch. Yeah, I don't know, but like honestly, I don't think I've seen it, but I do think that Josiah is the best in the world, possibly. Like maybe top. He's gonna hate that I say this, but I think he's top five in the world. Like because of when he's motivated, kind of thing.
Right. I mean, even
I
when
think he
he's
could be one of the best in the world. Maybe top 10. I don't know. There's
even
a
when he's
lot out
hurt, he
there.
skates at a phenomenal level. Like, I remember when he had like the before he had the knee surgery and dropped a section, and I was like, if this is if this is what you're capable of when you're not at your full ability, that's very concerning. Because
I
yeah,
know.
so
And
you're
then, oh,
what
sorry.
were you going to say?
I was going to say, but then there's Jake, who's like missed a big chunk of the skating. So he, like, due to like his own personal, like, I know you've talked to him before about his stuff, but he's so fucking hungry nowadays. It's insane. Like, I think he might be the most motivated person I've ever seen in my life, besides Danny Malm. And I've seen that man take the worst falls out of any human being I've ever seen, and then get back up and then do the trick, land it, and then go home and raise three kids and have a full time job. So
Yeah, yeah,
he that's what sets that's what sets apart the pros from like the amateur, whatever you want to call it. But the people that are like so motivated and driven to literally, they'll do anything to get the clip. And Jake is a freak of nature nowadays, especially.
yeah. I had no idea about any of that stuff when I spoke to Jake. I just thought he'd taken time off of skating, and then when he explained that it was because of addiction, I was like, that is one of the most phenomenal stories in blading that you can go from that, which destroys so many lives, and not only come back, but come back at the level you're at. It doesn't even feel like he's been away. And since he's come back, he's dropped God knows how many sections, made illegal smiles with all you guys, and just seems to just keep getting stronger and stronger. And like you said, raising these girls, having a job, it's yeah. it's impressive on so many levels. Yeah.
Yeah, he's something else. He's like constantly progressing, and it's like it's kind of fucking insane because the rest of us will take a long time to film just one part. Meanwhile, he's already filmed 3 to 4 parts. It's like every session he gets at least 2 to 3 clips. While like I'm just trying to like frantically try to find one spot that appeals to me. But he will make a spot out of anything. He will literally do any kind of skating. If you put him in any environment, he can figure out a clip. And that's not just a clip, but like a pro level clip.
Right.
And I think that's what sets him apart. It's like he's a true professional, and Razors needs to give him a fucking skate because that's insane that they haven't, and that needs to be on the radar for them. I'm sure it is.
Yeah. Out of who is currently on the team, like on the pro team, he is putting in, it could be argued he's definitely putting in the most work because he's dropped a lot of sections in the last 2 years. And it's not like they're just little middle of the road sections. Like that's got hard stuff in there. Like what was it? What was it? He had in Illegal Smells, Hurricane Top Acid both ways. Like oh,
Yeah.
massive roof drops. And yeah, killer combos as well and stuff like that. So, right, answer me this: between Josiah and Jake, who do you think would win if they went up against each other? Who would win?
Oof. Like depends on the obstacle. I definitely think it depends on the obstacle. I personally think, like I said, Josiah is the best. I think Josiah could take Alex Broskow for a run. Like I personally do, and he's probably gonna hate that because he doesn't like any kind of attention or whatever like that. But whatever. I think I don't know, man. Like fucking Jake has the drive. Josiah's just kind of like skates when he skates, and when he does skate, he'll do a 450 backslide alley top sole first try
Yeah.
without telling anyone that that's gonna happen. And then everyone's like, "What the fuck?" But Jake, if you were to like, Jake can do hand. Like I think that's what it is. It's like Jake can do the tech shit, but he can also do like a stunt that I won't even do, or like anyone will do. Like Jake's down to do the stunts and the fucking tech stuff. So it's hard to say, but I think, yeah, I don't know. I think even Josiah would admit that like Jake is a freak of nature. So it's hard to
Yeah.
say, but
Maybe he's got the eye
I
of the
would love to
tiger
see
thing.
that.
Yeah. Maybe if like Josiah started taking letters off him, Jake would just like zone in and go, no, this isn't happening. I'm not getting beaten. And then just channel his inner champion and yeah,
And then you
think
throw
myself
in like
through.
Andrew Broom or some shit, and then it's like just a wild ride.
Yeah.
All of them. They're all
So
pretty techy.
what about Josiah though? Because you talk about Jake. Jake's on razors, but yeah, hasn't got a skate yet. Hopefully, he will at some point. But Josiah can't even get on, which just blows my mind that he can't even get a spot on a team when he skates at that level. And he's put out 3 sections in the last 12 months, 4 sections in the last 12 months, maybe. Dreamboat,
Something like that.
Dreamboat, Illegal Smiles. Then he had one at the end of last year.
I think it was called Burnt or something.
Burnt, yeah, at least 3 in the last 12 months. So
I think there's like some kind of reason behind that. Like, and I don't want to speak for Josiah. Like that's what I don't want to do because I feel like it's like a personal decision between him. Like I don't know what I'm allowed to say, but I
okay.
think I don't know. I think maybe he does get skates for free. I don't
Oh,
know for
oh
sure.
yeah, I'm not saying he doesn't get hooked up, but I mean like officially put on like this guy's on our pro team or this
I
guy's
don't
like
think he wants that. I don't think he wants that. I think I've talked to him about it before. Uh, yeah, I don't think he wants that. I don't know for sure though. Like I don't want to say that, but I think that he's just content where he's at, and he's just grateful to be skating at all because his knee was so fucked. maybe still is, but I think he's just grateful to be doing it. And as far as I know, like that's all he cares about. He does not, I know for sure he does not care about like being like in the limelight or whatever. Like he does not care about that at all. Like he just likes to smoke weed. He just likes to skate and he likes to be like hanging with the homies and filming video parts when he wants. Like
Yeah,
he does, I don't
you
think he
can tell he's
wants.
not like you can tell he's not desperate for attention because he's not playing the social media game. He's not like regularly. In fact, he hardly ever uploads to his Instagram account, and it's like he just kind of forgets it exists, and then every once in a while goes, "Oh, here, I'll shove a clip up," and then just kind of goes back to like not paying attention to it. So that does make sense. Um, but yeah, you guys have got
The goat, dude. He's the fucking goat. And I've said it from the beginning. I truly stand by this, but I've seen the look in his eye. That man can do things that are unmentionable. Like if he wanted to and he showed up to Blade Cup, he would win it. And he's gonna hate that I say that, but he will win it. He's the fucking greatest. And I know there's a million other amazing skaters out there, but I stand by it and I've seen it in person and he is the best I've ever seen in my life.
I would, I would, yeah. If he showed up and put it down, I think he's got more than a good chance. Yeah. But you guys have got, I mean, just the whole crew in Illegal Smiles, like everyone put in a great section. I'm gonna butcher the brothers' names. Is it Christensen or Christensen? Christensen.
Good question. It's I think it's Christensen. I
Christensen.
don't
Yeah.
know for sure. I was actually like trying to think about that before this. I was like, I've never actually like said it out loud, but I don't know. And that's fucked because I'm like best friends with those guys.
But yeah, both those guys and JT Truitt as well. JT Truitt, am I saying that right? Yeah, I think that's right.
JT Truitt, some call him James.
And
Uh,
James Truitt,
that
yeah.
is that's my best friend, and that is another. That's I would say that's my favorite skater of all time.
Okay.
And I grew up with him, and he was the reason that I chose rollerblading over BMX and skateboarding. Because he moved out my way when I was a freshman in high school. He moved out that way, and he was a junior in high school at the time. And I was literally like about to choose BMX at the time, to be honest. Like I don't know what it is. I've always been drawn to BMXing and always followed that. Still do. Draw a lot of
Right.
inspiration from them. But yeah, he moved out my way, and I noticed he had a mind game shirt on in class, in history class actually. And I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Like me and my buddy were like, who the fuck is this guy? He's got a mind game shirt on. And then we talked to him and he's like, yeah, I rollerblade. And then he's like, kind of want to mock you this drop rail on the side of the high school after school today. And we laughed. We laughed at him. And then later we met up with him and he fucking did it. He mocked the biggest drop rail and we couldn't even grind really yet. So that's when we shut our mouths and yeah, that's kind of just like he kind of took me under his wing and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna rollerblade. This guy's sick as fuck.
He is. Can't remember. Is it Chance of Rain 3 or 4 that he has the Ender section in? Is it? I think it's 3.
No,
I get them all mixed up, but yeah, his
it's definitely not four because Avery had the ender in four.
maybe it's 3. If it's and he, yeah.
No, because three was Sam Askin, which shout
Oh,
out Sam.
I'm getting them mixed up.
That's another underrated individual.
Yep, I'm definitely getting them mixed up. But yeah, James's section in Illegal Smiles as well. I was like, I mean, the whole thing from start to finish. It was probably one of my favorite videos of last year. Like I watched it so many times, and I feel like as you get the longer you skate, I feel like the worse kind of like attention span you've got, especially when if it's something that because you've seen so much rollerblading before that you're like, oh, it takes quite a lot to kind of grab your attention and hold it, especially for a full length video. But the way that was put together, I got in contact with Jake to be like, you do realize that this is almost exclusively female artists as well on the music. And he was like, yeah,
I
that
noticed that. Yeah,
he was like, that wasn't a conscious decision. And I was like, oh no, I'm not complaining. Like I loved the music in it,
that's
but
fantastic.
it was refreshing because you don't get that as often in skate videos.
Yeah,
And just
absolutely.
the way it was put together, yeah, loved it.
I'll say right now, like just going back to JT real quick. Like if I don't I feel like that motherfucker is slept on, and it's kind of crazy. Like the real ones know, like the real ones know who JT Truitt is, and they've seen his parts, and they're fantastic. He's the best. He's so criminally underrated, but yeah, like I said, the real ones know, and
I think
he's always been.
despite the fact that you
He's
guys have had this series, like the video series, and like I know you were only in like the third and fourth one, but you helped film part of Chance of Rain 2, is that not right?
no, no.
I'm sure you were listed in the credits because I watched it not that long ago.
No, one and two, I didn't even live there. Uh,
Right. Um,
three and four, I actually moved out to film that part. Like
right,
I
okay.
moved to see back to Seattle to film that because I wanted to film parts with Carter and the
Right.
boys.
But
That's
like
why I did that.
despite the fact, yeah, you've got this series which, yeah, just got better and better. The skate, everything about it. It did feel
Thank you, man.
like, yeah, I definitely felt like it didn't get the attention it deserved. I don't feel like it got enough eyes on it. But, and yeah, like hardly anyone in those videos was sponsored. But yeah, they were still, the fact that they're still on YouTube as well now is great because I know that the first couple were on Vimeo. And yeah, what they created and all of that is unreal. But I was worried when Carter left because I know that he was it California or somewhere he moved to do tattooing.
Yeah,
And I was like, oh God, I hope this means like this isn't like the end of it and we're not going to see it from these guys anymore. And then the online edits started popping on and I saw that Jake picked up a camera and guys were getting like the Panasonics. And I was like, oh, right, they've upgraded from the VXs as well. And then when you guys all brought out Illegal Smiles, I was like, oh, right, okay, they're still very active. I was like, this is great.
no, yeah, I think you nailed it right there. I felt the exact same way when Carter moved away. Uh, I was like, oh my God, like that's why I moved here. Like I should say, like I was trying to get back to Seattle this whole time. Like it's a long story, but like I had moved away senior year of high school and then moved back like in 2019 or so because the whole time I was trying to get back to like film with the boys and like because I saw Chance Rain 1 and 2 and all the other edits they had made. And I came back and right in time for Chancery 3. And yeah, I don't know. Like I thought it was the end after Chancery 4 because Carter moved to Long Beach, and Jake and Neil took it upon themselves to actually like buy a camera each and learn to edit all that stuff, film, and yeah, like they really pulled through, and we just that's when Illegal Smiles came about. Like I'm super grateful for those guys because I thought it was the end and I was super bummed.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did so much, dude. They like if it wasn't for those two, like we wouldn't be where we're at. I'm super grateful for them. And actually everyone else films like a little bit. I think I
I've
film the
noticed
least.
that. Yep. Yep. I have
I
noticed
think
that.
I'm the least I definitely am the least camera savvy of all. And I want to change that because I feel bad because they all point the camera at me and I want to be able to be confident when I point the camera at them. So
Oh yeah, you've got to, when everyone's filming each other, you've got to put in a shift. Is it just me or can you hear bird song? I think I'll get my window open. Two
I don't
seconds.
know. I don't hear it. I don't hear it.
hear like faint bird song in my ear, and I was like, "Is this coming? Is this coming from Alex, or is it coming from me? What is happening?"
Nah, I don't think so. Not on mine.
Right. Um, where did the name come from? Where did Illegal Smiles come from? Whose idea was that?
That's a John Prine song, and that's where it came from. And I think I forget who it was. It might have been Brown, the skateboarder,
Yeah.
which is one of my best friends, by the way. Which also is one of the main filmers of Chance Rain and the originators of Chance Rain, which I should say, a lot of people don't know that for the record. I saw like some people like reviewed the video and they were like, why is there a skateboarder in the video?
I mean, it's very obvious in the credits where it says made by Carter, and like it's yeah,
Yeah,
it's not like it's a secret.
right. But that guy is like a phenomenal human being. And yeah, he just happens to skate with us. And he still does. And he's still filming parts for our next shit. And yeah, he's always filmed rollerblading, and he actually has clips that he filmed in the meantime. I think that was, or maybe it was the meantime. I don't know. It's the Brandon Negretti one.
Yeah, I know the video. You mean who was he filming?
He had some clips of like Matt Krishinger, which is another dude in our crew. Matthew Krishinger. He had a part in Rain 1,
Right.
and he's gonna. I'll say it right now. He's gonna have a part in the next thing,
So
and it's gonna be cool.
okay. So you guys have already started working on a new project then?
Yeah, I'd say so. I don't want to like throw that out there. Maybe not everyone has like fully committed to that, but we've definitely all been stacking, and well, that's all we do. Like once our videos come out, like that's what we love to do, man. That's all, we're obsessed. Like we just go right on to the next, and we just stack. And I think lately we've been doing like maybe like single sections and putting them out. Like Jake has done multiple, which he'll continue to do for like his sponsors like Razors and Red Eye.
Yeah.
And then I did the blank one with Jake. And then I have something else coming out soon. And yeah, I think everyone's just kind of to get into the next deal.
How
Hopefully a
deep
full one.
how deep into are you? How many tricks do you think you've got so far?
Well, some of us are like further than others. Like Jake is always like way ahead of the crew.
You're like,
But
I've got 10, Jake's got 50.
yeah, exactly. And I think like, Josiah could go and show up and just get a bunch easily. And some of us easier than others. I know Brown, the skateboarder, he has like a bunch of shit he's sitting on, and it's going to be really fucking good. And yeah, I've kind of just started, and some of us have just started. Yeah.
Right.
So I don't know how long it'll take. Hopefully we can work on it for a year or more. Like I want to like sit on shit. Like that's what I learned. Like the longer you work on shit, the better it'll be, kind of thing.
True. Yeah, I think a lot of people aren't patient enough to do it, and they're like, "Oh, we'll give it 3 months, and then I'll shove out a section with what I've got in 3 months because I don't want it to be out of date, or I don't want it to be on different skates, or yada yada yada." But I think it's rarer now for people to be like, "No, we're gonna get to the end of this. We're gonna get everything we want. Or as much as we can of what we want, and try and make like a full project." I think it feels like it's kind of starting to come back a little bit. It feels like there's been more full length videos, but then it's like, how do you determine what a full length video is now? I kind of feel like anything over like 10 or 15 minutes, people are like, oh, that's a full length. And you're like, but it's only got like 2 sections and a montage. And they're like, oh, that's
Yeah.
it's a full length. And you're like, all right, whereas your guys' videos, that video felt like a full length video. Like loads of sections. At least, I'm pretty sure I had like one or at least two, at least one montage that I can remember because it had the Salomon guy that broke his Salomon's doing the
Oh yeah, dude. John Christopherson,
yeah.
Xmas. That guy's a
Um,
legend.
so like that does feel like a proper like traditional full length video, if you will, as opposed to just longer projects. Um, How
Yeah,
many?
bring more of that out. Like
Yeah,
I love that shit. Like I want to bring that shit back. Like more of that. Like fuck Instagram. Like let's get that shit going. Like keep it with its roots. Like let's more full parts. Like sit on your shit for like fucking 2 3 years. Like fuck the rest of the stuff. Like that's what I learned when I got here. I was like the boys would sit on shit for like 2 years, and it's like yeah, I want to put it out, but like just sit on it. You'll make like it'll be so much more meaningful and so much more special because you'll be able to watch that when you're older and just be really proud of that shit. And
yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's like a time capsule as opposed to if you just shove everything on Instagram. I mean, even you'll forget about it in like a week or two because yeah, people go, oh, do you remember that spot you skated? Can we go there this weekend? And I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And even when they describe it, you're like, nope. And they're like, you literally posted that last month. And I'm like, okay, cool. It's just woof, gone.
for
Uh,
sure.
there's a lot to be said about taking time and making something that feels finished in your mind, like all the spots you want to hit for that period, or all the tricks you have in your mind, like getting them, like crossing them off, and like stuff like that. I think there's a very satisfying feeling that comes along with that.
It's a special thing for sure. I think I live for that shit and I'm obsessed and that's all I care about. Like at this point, like I don't care about any kind of sponsors. I don't care about anything. I just that's all I want to do is just make full video parts and just keep doing that and like keep progressing. Uh, it's not about anyone else other than myself, and it's like it's just like a battle against myself. Like to some people, it's like how do I say this? It's like yeah, like skating is supposed to be fun and stuff. That's great, but to me, it's more of like a serious thing, and it's like in no way like just like having fun. It's like I'm trying to literally have a battle against my own mind and body. Like I'm trying to push myself as much as I can. And that's what that means to me. So like video parts are super special. And I was like so fucking blessed to have Carter point a lens at me and like make him extra special with his like artistic view. Like I'm super grateful for that. And all the guys that like did all the stuff they did for me, like film, edit, or whatever. A lot of people have said like I'm super lucky, but it's like also like I lived in Nashville before this and I fucking got rid of all my material possessions, packed up and just moved out here just so I can fucking do this. And so like I am lucky to do this, but like also like I made sure it happened. Like I followed my dream and I fucking gave up my life back there and I was like, I need to make this happen. And that's why I'm here. And it's been the best times of my life.
Also,
I hope that
I feel like that's a bit of a cop out on the part of people that are saying you're lucky because I mean, sections don't make themselves.
right, right.
Like,
Well, I think I've
yeah,
gotten a lot
yeah,
of
it's
stuff.
it's it's great having people to film for you and edit for you, and yeah, if you happen to get in with a crew, but you still have to step up and like they don't they don't land the tricks for you.
Right. Totally. Yeah, I think I just like have a lot of people that like have said like, "Oh man, you're so blessed to get like a Carter pointing a lens at you." And it's like I am. Like he's the best. Like he's a gift to rollerblading. And yeah, I agree, but also it's like you have to make that happen. Like you have to come through, you have to move across the country. I literally drove across the country, like let go of everything and just started a new life just so I could remember the last like just so I could like film with Carter and the boys for the rest of however long I do this. And yeah, I just like kind of made my dreams come true. And yeah, the crew doesn't just let anyone in. Like you have to like kind of be a chill dude and also like, step up. And so I'm super grateful. I am super grateful for Carter and all the boys.
So you've mentioned like yeah, your affinity with full-length videos. So which full-length videos have came out in like recent memory in like the last year or two or three or whatever that you've been like, oh, that resonates with me. I've watched that a bunch of times, or like I really enjoyed that or found that inspiring.
I'd say anything Ian Walker does, I love. He puts in a lot of work, and I feel like everyone knows who the fuck he is for the most part, but I think he just puts in more work than most, and in a way that's like, yeah, he goes to film school and he does all this shit and learns the shit, but yeah, he puts in work. So anything that he's done, like Crazy Pills, a Dreamboat, anything to come. And then another crew that I really fuck with is like the Fifth Floor crew,
Okay, yeah.
like Sizemore. Yeah, all of them. They're great. They're fantastic. I love their shit. That's one of my favorite full lengths. There's Spokes, and then there's I think it's called just Fifth Floor. I don't know.
Fifth Floor was the first one. Spokes was the second one. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I love those. I love that shit. I love the B-roll. I love all the extras, and yeah, those are like the main ones. Whatever Walker does and whatever Fifth Floor crew does.
Yeah.
Dominic Bruce, I love all those guys.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. All the oh God, what did they call themselves? Is it Shangri-La that David calls his
Yeah,
project?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Shangri-La.
All that stuff.
Um,
Hey, do you
um,
mind if I pee real quick? Sorry.
go for it.
I'm so sorry. Hold on. So sorry about that.
It's all good.
I pee
Uh,
like 4 times an hour. It's kind of fun.
I also think you might have the distinct honor of grinding off more boats than anyone I know of in rollerblading.
Sick. That's sick. That's
In,
sick, actually. It's kind of funny.
in fact, like there's like three popping to mind out of, because I've seen you porn star off one, I've seen you grind just a normal boat, and then I'm pretty sure in the blank section you had, wasn't it an upturned boat that you topsail off to drop?
Yeah, actually, that's funny because my fiance actually found that spot. Uh, she she was working a job and she was like, "Oh, I think I found like a ship that you might want to skate. It's all graffitied up and it just looks like something that you might like." And shout out to her. And so I went and I checked it out the next day, and sure the fuck enough, it's like the most epic thing ever. And that was a whole mission to make that work.
So that was just sitting there on the edge of a drop off, just ready to skate. You didn't have to move it or anything.
Oh no, there was some work put in. So there was like a cross rail. This is gonna sound fucked, but I went and I checked it out during the day, and yeah, I there was a rail like because I do the grind and then I drop in off the thing, but there was a rail originally there, like in between where I rolled.
Okay.
And so I actually went and I bought rail or pipe cutters, heavy duty pipe cutters from like a like a place where you rent tools. And I went in the night and just cut that shit out because it's so apparently it's like an abandoned boat that's been at dock for years and years, and the person who owned it abandoned it, so it's just sitting there. So, and I know this because she works there and she was like doing a site tour, and the people that like work at the site were like, yeah, this boat's been here for years and years, and the person left it, and like no, like they're just abandoned it. So I was like, holy shit, like that's free game. So I went and I still felt kind of sketchy because there was like people like lingering around, and it was like a maybe like a 2 night mission. And I rented those cutters and I went and I like cut them, took that shit
Am I
out,
right in thinking those are the things like you put round it and you just twist it? Is that right?
and you twist it. Yeah, but these ones were heavy duty because this pipe was super thick. So I had to just twist it for like honestly like 15 minutes straight. And
Okay.
then I just kicked it off, and then I like kind of like dipped out because I was like kind of worried, even though it's abandoned. But I was like, I kind of like a little like adrenaline like that. Like as long as it's not someone's like, I'm not trying to fuck someone's stuff up. Like if
Yeah.
it's not abandoned or anything, I'm not gonna fuck your shit up. But it's fun to like get that adrenaline and like do like a little secret mission. And I
Yeah,
came back.
definitely.
I sent it to the boys the next day, and I was like, I got this shit ready. Let's go. And I think we've gotten like 6 or 7 clips on that boat alone, and there's more to come. Like
Right.
there's some people that have some shit coming on that boat that are more epic than what I did for sure.
So right. I'm just trying to like get a visual here. So you guys were literally just sessioning. Was this all in one session?
Actually, yeah, it's kind of funny. Like most of it happened in one session, and I'm not gonna tell you who, but someone did something so fucked on the boat that was like, it's not the same trick, or like it's not grinding the same obstacle on the boat. It's a different obstacle on the boat, but it's way more fucked than what I did. And it's coming out like eventually. And then we came back like another day, and a couple people got clipped up more. And ever since, I think that's we'll call it at that.
Right. So this is a working dock. No one was walking past being like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Yeah, it's kind of like tucked away. Like Seattle has a bunch of like little marinas, and I'm always personally seeking out for some reason boats. Like I think it was like, I don't know. I just like try to look for the unconventional stuff because like I said, like I'm not very tech. I mean, I can get tech if I need to, but I'm just kind of looking for shit that like is different. And yeah, I don't know. I love that shit. I love just seeking out shit that you're not supposed to grind and then grinding it.
Right. I mean, this has not escaped my attention, but I feel like you also need jeopardy. I feel like if it doesn't have a certain element of risk involved, it doesn't excite you as much. Because everyone I see, I'm like, I mean, you take some slams in some of your sections, but when I'm watching it, I'm like, that could go wrong. Some of those are scary.
Yeah, a lot of them have. Yeah, I could say like a lot of shit has gone wrong, and yeah, I've pretty much broken everything in my body. I'll tell you that much.
Right.
Like every fucking bone at some point. But I love that shit. I don't know. Like it just gets me going. Like I need that like I need that like that high. Like I don't know. It's weird. Like whether it be skating, like if I'm not skating, I'll just go seek out like something to climb that's like deadly. I don't know. I've always like enjoyed that like feeling of like you could die, but I don't know. It just really gets me going. It
I
makes you
mean,
feel most alive, basically. And I know people have said that before, like a lot of free climbers or like free solo type people, like that's kind of the shit I go for. It's not necessarily like the conventional way of skating, but I've kind of always done that kind of shit even before skating. I was just like trying to scare myself.
yeah, I get that's the impression I get that you like putting the fear of God into yourself and then just trying to overcome it. Yeah.
Love it. I love it so much. I fucking love it, dude. It's crazy. Like I'll just be having a shit day and I'll just go find a bridge to climb and dangle off of it just by myself for fun. Like I don't know what it is. It's just like yeah. And especially with the skating stuff, just trying to find the most ridiculous thing. And I know a lot of people don't like that. Like I saw some comments recently and they're like, "Oh man, it's weird. I prefer people skating regular obstacles and being more creative on the regular obstacles rather than seeking out things that aren't like or things that are weird in skating that I don't know. Like I don't know. They're like, yeah, that's not really rollerblading. And it's like I don't give a fuck. Like I'm just trying to express myself through I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm just
Yeah,
trying to
it's
express.
not also it's not for them to enjoy, it's for you to enjoy. So it's like I find that quite weird when people it's like the whole people are like, oh, if you do tricks and anti-rocker, it doesn't count. And you're like, says who?
Right,
Ro-
exactly.
Roscoe skates anti-rocker. Halfy,
Exactly. And there's some
Halfy,
motherfuckers out
Halfy
there.
skated pretty much the majority of Halfy street sections are anti-rocker. Aragon, majority of his sections, and it's like so all of a sudden their tricks don't count.
They definitely fucking count. And
And it's like the whole so if you skate certain obstacles, well, that's not as interesting. Well, it might not be as interesting to you, but we're not skating for your enjoyment. We're skating for mine. So you can fuck
exactly. This
off.
ain't about anyone else. This is about like, at least for me, like this is not about anyone else. Like I'm super grateful for all the people that have shown support and like watched my shit, but I don't honestly give a fuck. Like this is just for me and the boys. Like we just go and we do our thing. That's why none of them care about getting sponsored. Like they don't care. They just want to. We're just filming videos for us, like to have, like you said, it's a timestamp to watch, like from that time period, like when we're older, like we could be proud of, like the shit we did. Like this is not about anything other than that. Like this is just for fun, and if people enjoy it, then that's fucking sick. And a lot of people have been really nice about it and like supportive. So that's really cool. I really appreciate all the people that have like reached out about all the shit we've done. So yeah.
Nice. I'm curious to know who you're like. So you've mentioned Dunkel before for like the grind and chains thing, but who else? Who else do you think is like major inspirations for you, or especially like your approach in terms of like obstacles and stuff like that? Or because I can pretty much trace half of my trick vocabulary back to like sections that I watched in the 90s as an impressionable teenager, or like obstacles that I like to skate based on like pivotal videos that I watched. So I'm imagining it must be the same for you as well.
Yeah. I think for me, like the main person that was like the biggest inspiration was Walt Austin.
Right.
Um, like a video in particular that really changed my life was Hashashins. It's mainly Walt Austin and Gumby. And Gumby, when I first saw his We Are Valo section, that changed my life. And I remember specifically like that tower, that vertical tower that he stands at the top, the 20-foot
That's quite funny
tower.
because I was going to say you're the one you do in Illegal Smiles reminded me of the one he does in Valo for
Oh,
Life.
100% inspired by Gumby. I'm actually like I'm friends with Gumby and like I have been for a long time. And yeah, I remember just like being a child and seeing that part and it changed my life. And he hates it, I think. Like he's told me he hates that part and it's just like him falling most half of it.
He does spend a
But
lot of time eating shit in that section.
it's like, dude, I don't even care. Like that part, like the song, like when it when I saw that, it changed everything. I remember I started doing like bigger shit when I saw that. Like that vertical soul where he souls and then all his wheels blow up and he just walks away. That was like that I was like, holy fuck. Like there's no rules to this shit. Like you can do whatever the fuck you want. You don't have to roll to grind down. You can stand and just roll. You can do anything. Like that's what's good. It's like this isn't soccer or fucking basketball. This is like you can do whatever you want. And that's what I love about it. So yeah, that and then Hashashins and Walt Austin were like the main influences for sure.
Very. It's so funny how many people like now say they were influenced by Walt, but yet Walt just couldn't get a proper like shake when he was in his prime. Like he had pro wheels with Eulogy, but just never it never got to like pro level with like USD and stuff like that. Again, it was a time where it was there was a lot of competition. It was tough, but it's so funny that someone that never made it all these years later is still so influential and so many people reference him. Like so many people refer to him as their favorite skater, and and the fact that he's still going now and still he's 40 y'all section that he put out, I was like, wow, okay, yeah, you're still got a lot of ideas up your sleeve.
I know that last thing he did, the 40, this is 40 part was crazy. Like, yeah, he like kind of took a different approach in like smaller things, but like way creative. Like, man, dude, that guy is special. Like, yeah, just the way he skates, I love it, man. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, definitely my biggest influence, I'd say for sure, 100%. And Gumby.
All right.
And I always just like think back to that Hashashins video. Like, not
I
necessarily
love
like
when
the
everyone tries to
film.
say the title whenever you
Yeah,
Hashasins.
it's not necessarily like the filming and editing. Like, cause back then it was like I don't know, but yeah, the skating it was just I don't know something I'd never seen before, and yeah, those are like the two main influences. And the people I skate with every day, like they're always huge inspirations. Like I skate completely different than all of them, but all of them are like my favorite skaters. So
I mean, they do all skate to a very high level, so it would be difficult not to find that motivating, even if it's not the same obstacles you want to skate. You'll be like, you're still going to see stuff that's going to get you inspired or like going to get you pumped to yeah, go to the thing you want to visit and go, right, it's my turn now.
for sure, for sure. And the brown is like one of my favorites because we like to look out for those like I don't know, like those spots that are like collapse when you grind or like the
You
mousetrap.
guys do so many rails that you guys grind just literally disintegrate when you're on them. There's one I can't remember what section it's in. You like macchio it, and as you're macchioing it, it basically just flips.
Yeah, illegal smiles. Yeah,
And I'm like,
that was
no,
yeah, it's
no
kind of
way.
dude. Yeah, that one like yeah, it yeah. I broke the rail, so I wanted to get it better, but the rail broke off the wall. So,
Yeah, I feel
but
like
we got what we got.
yeah, there's a lot of instances of that. Also, the I'm pretty sure I messaged you about this at the time when I watched it, but the one where you basically just like run along the grass and then Keine grind that tiny little rail, and I'm like, oh, it's a Keine grind on a rail, and then the fisheye turns round, and I'm like, oh my god, that bank is disgusting and terrifying, and it's like Keine grind to death bank.
It was so scary. It was so scary, and I don't think the like angles really do it justice because I remember just like standing at the top of the bank and like just dropping in, and that was so fucking scary.
Yeah,
Like, oh my God, I was so scared. And then there's a wall right after, and it may not look like on film, like maybe it's that
that's it.
close,
Yeah,
but
I saw you trying to stop in time for the wall, and I was like, so it's not bad enough that you have to land the ground, get into the bank, not slap the ground face first when you land at the bottom, but then you have to stop in time before you get taken out by a wall. I was like,
so fucked. It was so scary, dude. I went by myself on my lunch break, like a few weeks before that, and like just stood there and sold the rail and jumped in twice, like just by myself for a gram clip. And then I deleted it immediately. And I was like, I'll just do it again and like really do it. And then we went back and then it was like kind of wet because it had been raining. And then that's when I did the kind grind, the roll kind grind one.
yeah,
But
that
like
was
once again, I
brutal.
wanted to do that better, but there's like because when I go down the bank, it's like I got to do that little T stop, but it's like if not, I'm gonna die. Like I'm going right into that wall. But
There's yeah, there's certain spots where you get a lot of grace when it comes to just making it.
yeah, sometimes I need to listen to the boys because they're the voice of reason a lot. Like a lot of the times I like hate everything I do. Like honestly, like most of the time. And I have to like wait for them to be like, Yo, that was so good. Like, don't worry about it. Like, you're good. Because I fucking don't like my skating, to be honest. Like, I'm just like so fucking self-conscious, and I get in my head a lot. And there's a lot of people out there that are like incredible, and I don't know. I don't know. I just get in my head, and so yeah, I have to like have someone tell me sometimes that it was tight.
I do think there's a lot of people, sponsored, not sponsored, like certain levels, whatever, that just what they have in their mind doesn't marry up with reality and they just can't accept it and they just go, well, I don't like it then. Like when you picture a trick or executing something in your mind and then you see the clip of it and you're like, that's not how it looked in my head. That's not how it looked when I thought I was doing it. And just because it doesn't match up, you're like, no, it's wrong, then it's bad. I don't like it. Whereas I
Right.
think you just have to accept that sometimes, or in most times, like the picture in your head isn't necessarily the right one. It's just the idea that you had. The reality could be the right one because that's just
For sure.
that's the way it's meant to be. What you've got in your head is like a perfect image, and
Yeah,
maybe that just should.
happens a lot.
Yeah,
It happens a lot. It's like more like a survival thing. It's like if you just survived it, like you're good. Like I don't know. Like yeah, it's just I think I compare myself to people sometimes and I shouldn't. And I'm like I wish I could look like these people, but that's just not me, man. Like JT, like he looks so controlled and so just I don't know. It's just a different skating. Like that's what it is. It's like there's people that have full control and just like do beautiful things. And then there's like reckless, life endangering type shit. I don't know. I try to like have a little bit of both.
right. What's the is it Chance of Rain 3 or 4 where you just topsoul off that again? You've got a thing about grinding off really skinny, terrifying things. There's like a sloped roof, and you just topsoul this really, really skinny thing that's basically a roof drop. Is it is it 3?
Oh, I think it's my Chance to Rain 3 ender.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I was like, that's not a topsoul spot. What if you miss the sofa? What if you miss the sofa?
Yeah, that one I'm pretty proud of that one, but yeah, I actually I was gonna say like without giving away too much, I definitely want to go back to that for something else.
Right.
That's been on my mind a lot, that spot.
I'm
But that
curious.
was a scary one.
Right. I'm curious to know if there's like any other ones that you're like you genuinely shocked yourself and went, can't believe I actually landed that, or can't believe I didn't get broke off, or that okay, that is actually possible. Like because I feel like you've got quite a lot of spots like that where like, yeah, they sound good in your head until you're standing at the top of them, and then you're like, this is terrifying. This could this could go so wrong.
Yeah. I don't know. I think most of them are like pretty like it seems weird to say, but like pretty calculated in my mind. Like I feel like I know what I'm gonna do. It's almost like most of them are pretty like I break it down in my head and I'm like, I feel like I can do this. Like it's not I don't know. Um shit, I don't know. It's hard to say like on the spot. I don't know. Like a lot of those like the fucking one in rain check where I 360'd into the dumpster lid and then went to the other dumpster.
Yeah.
Like I was like, dude, I'm probably gonna die. Like and we were like there was the guy who owned the truck was right there and he came out and he was like saw me on his truck and he was like he gave me permission. I thought for sure he was like, you gotta get the fuck off my truck. But he was like he just like lit up his cigarette and he was like, all right, go for it. Just don't fuck up my truck. And I was like, dude, like I'm probably gonna die. And sometimes that happens. I'm like, it gets to a point where you're like, I just have to accept like I'm either gonna die or I'm gonna land it. And that happened actually, I feel like that happens a lot. I'm just like kind of blanking on particular instances, but that one in particular, I was like, I might die and I might go into that crevice before the second dumpster. And or like hit my shins or my face. Like I kept thinking, I always think like before I do something, it's kind of fucked, but I think of the worst possible scenario.
I get that as well, and I'm like, just shut that out of your mind. Just slide that to the side. Slide that to the side, and it won't happen. Yeah, yeah.
And I've had people like they're like, why? What the fuck would you ever let your mind go there? But I don't know, some weird intrusive thoughts are like they're like, dude, you're gonna hit your teeth on the edge of the corner of the dumpster and then end up with no teeth. But I'm like, there it gets to a point where I'm like, I accept it and I do it, and I'm like, just fucking commit. Like, do not hesitate. Just commit, and you'll do it. And that one worked out fantastic. And yeah, I don't know. It's like I think Jake said it like recently. He was like, yeah, you just have like it gets to a point where, like you have to accept the outcome. It's like you might rack. You probably will, but you just have to either accept it or don't. So yeah, I think it's like do or die. Like you just shut your mind off, but like you have to fully commit. So
That
that
yeah.
happens a lot.
The yeah, when you
I know it's
360
not
onto that, I was like that it looked so springy that it could just you could you're I was like you could just hit that and it could just pop you off to the side with and totally lose like
it
basically
definitely almost
be
did, yeah.
sideways. Yeah, and I was like 360 and onto that is such a wild choice. And you stomped the 180 after it. But yeah,
Thanks,
just
man.
when I saw how much that like container moved, I was like, nope, that's a hard pass for me.
I had gone earlier in the day and like jumped it by myself for a gram clip. And I was like, nah, dude, I gotta save this. So then I hit up the boys and then we went back later in the day and then I just went for the three. And I'm so fucking glad because that's one of my favorite clips. Even though my arms are disgusting and like flailing, but it's like, dude, it was like survival once
Yeah.
again.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
It's
not redoing that.
that's
Like,
not the one where you get back up and go, oh, let me clean it up. No,
right,
no,
right.
no.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time. I'm trying to think of another one where I wasn't sure what was gonna happen. I know there's so many, but I have some in the works that are gonna be like the yeah, I have one in particular on my mind that'll probably be the ender for one of the next two. I'm not gonna give it away at all, but it's gonna be the most fucked up thing of my life. So I'm excited for that.
That's not gonna lie.
Not I know that's super broad, but
That's well, no, it's super worrying, is what it is, because the stuff you've skated so far, yeah, that fills me with dread. But okay,
thanks, man. Yeah, I don't know. I love it. I don't I love it and I'm definitely hurting nowadays, but I'm trying to keep going.
how old are you?
I'm 35 and I just turned 35 in March,
Right.
but I will say like once I turned like 28, 30, I was starting to feel it all. And nowadays like I went to the doctor and they were like, yeah, you have like one of the worst cases of degenerative arthritis in your neck. Because I guess at one point I broke my neck and shortened it by like an inch. And then I also like fractured my spine in like six different places, but like never went to the doctor when that happened. So they did x-rays and they were like, yo, your shit is fucked up. So now I have like all kinds of arthritis everywhere.
How did you sustain these injuries?
I don't know. Like I think I don't know. Like I just like I said, I've broken everything and I just like kind of just I guess I kind of like pain in a weird way. Like it's in not in a fucking weird way, but like I get through it. I don't know. But now I'm starting to pay for it and I don't know. I'm trying to keep it going. Like I want to keep skating how I skate. Everyone's like you need to chill out a little bit, but I don't think I'll get the same feeling if I do that. And I know a lot of people are like, well, what about longevity? And I think I can keep running it for a little while longer. Like it hurts for sure. Like every day hurts. Like I literally feel like shit all day, every day. Like I go to work and like people are like, "Why are you in so much pain?" And I'm like, I don't know, like just skating. And they're like,
I was
"Well,
throwing
why do you?"
myself off a roof this morning before I came here. Yeah.
There's a lot of times where it's like I can't walk for a week after one trick, but it's so the payoff is insane, man. Like I know you know what that feels like to get something that like really fucking sucked to do, but like once you did it, it's like that payoff is unreal.
Yeah, my partner's a doctor, so every time I literally came home today with road rash all up one side of my body from just going to a skate park, just getting broke off at a concrete skate park. And she's like, "How is that fun? How is that?" And
Right.
I'm like, well, experiencing it at the time wasn't fun, but I wouldn't, you take the rough with the smooth. And she was like, but
Oh yeah,
he was like, who enjoys getting, and I'm like, no one enjoys getting hurt. Like, I don't like being in pain or getting in the shower and wincing, but I also wouldn't change it for anything. Like that's just it's an accepted consequence of what I've decided to do.
for sure. It's so worth it. Like yeah, I wouldn't change it at all. Like like I said, like I've broken everything and I'm not gonna stop skating like this. It's just what I'm gonna do. And maybe I'll like I've definitely gotten smarter about it. Like Josiah told me, he's like, just let the spot speak to you. Don't just jump off shit for fun. Like just it's not worth like I don't know, just think about what you're doing. Like it's not as like un it's not as reckless as people think. Like it's more calculated. Like I don't do shit unless I know I can do it. I'm not gonna just huck for the most part, unless I know I can do it. But
For,
I love it.
for the most part. Um, I saw your Instagram thing recently where you said you were going to Madrid to visit family, and so I didn't realize that. I just kind of assumed you were an American. I didn't realize that you were Spanish and moved to America when you were a child and couldn't speak English. How old were you when you moved to America?
Well, so like I'm half Spanish for one. Like my mom's full Spanish,
Right.
and then my dad like he was in the Air Force, so like he was constantly like we were moving a lot when I was younger. But I like went to school up until like second grade in Spain. So like growing up until second grade, like that's all I spoke. Like I forgot English completely. And yeah, and then we would go back to America for the summer and come back. Like at one point, like I would go back to America and I forgot English, so I'd have to relearn English. Then I go back to Spain, I had forgot Spanish, so I'd have to relearn Spanish. And I go back to America, forget English. It was like back and forth, like growing up a lot. So yeah, I don't know. Like I can't say exact dates, but like yeah, I used to like yeah, I used to live in Spain and like all my family lives in Spain. It's like Leon, Spain, like kind of near Leon,
Okay.
which is like I don't know, 3 to 4 hours away from Madrid,
Right.
the part we live in. So yeah, so yeah,
Right.
and I haven't been back since I was 18. So I'm 35 now. So that's gonna be like a really sick fucking trip this summer. Definitely
So
bringing the skates. Definitely gonna hit spots that no one's ever hit because I don't remember ever hearing about anyone from that part of Spain in particular. I know there's tons of people in Spain, but
yeah, yeah. Madrid's got a big scene, but yeah, outs like and nearby like towns and cities. Yeah, I'm not so familiar with.
called Ponferrada is the name of the city, and it's yeah, it's way deep in the cut, like in the fucking desert almost out there. And I remember like I skated back in the day out there, like when I last went, which was like yeah, somewhere around like 17, 18. And like there was so many fucking amazing spots that like God people would love, but like I didn't have like the ability to do shit really. But I remember I did do some fucked up shit, like honestly, like back then, and like all I had was a disposable camera just to document it. But yeah, it doesn't really translate. So this time around, I think I'm gonna have like my fiance just like film some gram clips or something. Like I
Right.
wish I had a VX or something to take with me, but
I mean,
or like one of the
yeah,
boys.
sometimes you just need to make do with what you've got, and if all that's available is a phone, so be it.
For sure, for sure. Actually, I think I had like a VHS camera at the time, and I filmed some shit in Spain. Like I filmed like a whole summer there, and it was like I did some fucked up shit on skates there, and like I remember at one point just throwing the tape away because I was like, I'm never gonna be able to put this on a computer. I don't know how to do that. So I just threw it away, and it's just gone forever. But it had some shit, and it's like doesn't really matter, does it now?
How old was little Alex Sams in the footage that I found tucked away on YouTube where you're doing like 450 fakey 450 back royals down handrails?
Oh shit. I was like, I think I was like 16 or 17. Yeah,
Yes.
that was scary for sure.
Yeah. There's also a gap that you do in there that did not end well, and
Oh,
it was a stair set that looked like it was like triple the height of your body.
yeah. That was like a 20 stair in Seattle that like a few people have tried back in the day. It's gone now, but yeah, like a few people tried it and I got a like a super fucked up concussion from that.
Yeah, that I did not enjoy watching that clip. That was not pleasant.
I'm pretty sure that's where like I don't know for sure, but I think that's where like all my like visual snow shit came from. Like that I was telling you like I have like some brain eye disorder and I think that's where it came from. Maybe, I don't know.
Right. Explain visual snow to me.
Yeah, it's so it's called visual snow syndrome and it's like a rare neurological disorder that like apparently 2% of the world has. But I think it's a lot more than that. I just think that like people have such like mild cases and aren't aware of it. Like they don't know that they have that. So like there's no cure, there's no treatment yet. So that's the fucked up part. But basically what it is like 24/7 I see like static over my vision. So like a broken TV, like a pixels, you know, like the static, that is over my vision 24/7, even with my eyes closed. And there's so much more, but that's like the main thing. And like it's basically like there's so many fucking like visuals I see every day. So like it's like basically like a bad acid trip, like all the bad stuff of acid, like constantly over my vision. And yeah, it's kind of made my life super fucked for the last like I don't know, like since I was like 15 or 16.
How did you manage to put a name to it?
So like one day I was like Googling like I remember I noticed it, but like I kind of like dismissed it and then like it started getting worse. And then one day I just happened to Google it and it wasn't that long ago. It was like maybe 5 years ago. I was like static in my vision. So like when I look in the sky, it's just like pixels everywhere. Not just in the sky, but like everywhere.
Yeah.
So I Googled it and it fucking popped right up. And there's like a whole initiative where it's like they're trying to figure out a way to bring awareness and a treatment for it. And so, yeah, like, and then I just like went down a wormhole of it. And yeah, there's a ton of people out there that have it that like I said, like a lot of people don't like their case is so mild. Like maybe they look in the sky and there's like little dots and they think that's just how everyone sees. And I remember one time I posted about it on Instagram and like kind of like once I got into like figuring out what it was and had a name to it. And then immediately like three people hit me up, like skaters. And I don't remember who it was, but they were like, oh, what the fuck? Like that's not normal. Like you're not supposed to see like pixelated things in your vision. And like, so I took it down because I was like part of me wants to like bring awareness, but also I don't want to freak people out. Cause like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah,
maybe
definitely. Yeah.
it's an issue, but for me, I have like one of the most severe cases I've ever heard of out of anyone. Cause it's like just the craziest static. Like it's like I can still see and shit, but like just picture like a filter, like a broken VX or like a broken TV or something 24/7. And that's just like one symptom. Like the rest is like it's hard to say. Like like I know a lot of people have floaters, like the little amoeba looking things in your vision.
Yeah.
Like that's relatively normal, but I have like thousands of them, and that's like nothing. Like that's one of the lesser bothersome symptoms. And there's like everything's delayed. Like when I go like this with my hand, it's just like slow motion.
How
Everything's
does that not make any kind of like hand-eye coordination or like physical activity or even skating? Like, how does that not make it so much more treacherous? Because you're like, you can't
it
trust
does.
your perception.
It definitely does. It when it first started getting worse, like well, I've read that it's like normally just like stagnant. When you have it, it stays the same forever. But for me, it's definitely progressively gotten worse. And that's why I got glasses. Like within the last few years, I was like, I have to like I went to the eye doctor, and eye doctors don't even know what the fuck it is. Like they've heard of it, some of them. Neurologists have heard of it, barely. Like depending, doctors don't even know what the fuck it is. That's how new it is. Like to them, like it's so like there's no research done really. Like they're currently working on like research and treatment. But yeah, it's totally affected my skating. And I think that like when I'm skating, yeah, I don't know, for a while it was like you, it almost like it's hard to concentrate for sure, but also like sometimes it like takes it away. It's not gone, but it's like the adrenaline and like just being in the moment, like and like scaring yourself kind of makes you feel alive because that's hard to explain, but like I do have like depersonalization and derealization, which are like symptoms of it where you feel like you're not in your body, like you're in a dream kind of thing. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but it's it's a thing, and they're huge symptoms of that. And when I do like shit, like scary shit, like I feel kind of alive, and for that moment, I kind of forget about like all the shit I deal with.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's hard to concentrate for sure. Like when I'm skating up to a rail, there's just all kinds of visuals. That's what I'm saying. It's like really fucking scary, man. Like I like I know it sounds fucked, but like a lot of the times in my life I've like there's been times where I like wanted to end it. Like it's that bad. It's like honestly every single day that I wake up is like super hard. Like just getting through a day at work or just doing anything is like really hard. Like just looking at a wall is like a white wall is just like a light show. Like just lasers and shit everywhere. Like
Yeah.
it's super
Yeah.
fucking.
I've tried acid before and had the effects of that, and yeah, that gets old very quickly. Yeah, so
It's like that permanently, and it's not the good stuff of it. And I there's something called HPPD, which is like a product like a type of visual snow, or like visual snow is a symptom of it. And it's like people that took too many hallucinogenics, like shrooms and acid, and like they have a type of visual snow, and like so they see the same kind of shit. And that's from hallucinogenics, and I don't really like I've done that, but like not to that extent. So like they don't really know what causes it, but I have a feeling that like maybe concussions made it worse throughout the years because I've had like at least 20 concussions, maybe more.
that's
So
and you've never thought Maybe it's helmet time.
Nah. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like, I know what I'm doing for the most part. It sounds stupid because I've had like 20 concussions, but uh, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is. I don't know. Uh, it's it's hard to say, man. Yeah, I don't know. I've gone to neurologists and they diagnosed me with it finally recently, and they like because now some of them are starting to learn about what visual snow syndrome is. And I got officially diagnosed a few years ago, and they're like, it could potentially be like from the concussions, but I'm not so sure. Like, you could be born with it, you could be like maybe concussions made it worse.
Mm.
I try to trace it back, and I'm not really sure like when it started. I think it's like when I was like 15, 16, around that stair set that I tried. I think it was around there. So
I mean, yeah, if anything's going to do it, that was brutal. So, yeah.
I do think about things more nowadays, though. Like, it doesn't seem like it, but like if there's any like way, like any doubt in my mind where I'm like I could hit my head, like I know that can happen at any point, but like in my mind, I'm like if I don't feel confident to where like I'll hit my head, I won't do it. Or if like I get any kind of like I'm gonna hit my head and then it lights out. Like I don't want to make this any worse. So like I really do like try to think about things a little more carefully nowadays before I just huck it. But yeah, you're probably right. I should wear a helmet. Does any more hits? I don't know. I might be a goner, man.
That's,
I don't
yeah,
know.
that's where it's like, is it really worth taking it to that level for something that's, yeah, meant to be just enjoyable or fun or like not? Yeah. Yeah. It's, it's
I
definitely
love
not.
it. I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm just gonna be a little more careful, and there's certain kinds of tricks that like I won't do because I've had the experience of hitting my head doing that kind of thing, and I don't know. I know what I like. I know how to listen to my body, and yeah.
All right.
But I do think that it's important to like just mention this visual snow syndrome because I don't think I've heard of anyone ever having this as far as like the visual snow initiative that I follow. And yeah, I don't know, like it's pretty fucked up, man. Like it's definitely affected my life. Like it's super hard.
It's,
But I
yeah,
gotta stay positive.
yeah. When you mentioned it to me, that was the first time I'd ever heard of it. Um, so we've been talking for almost 2 hours. One more question, and then I'll let you go about your afternoon because your day is you've still got plenty of your day left as opposed to me. So what's the plans for the rest of the year? So you said you're working on a couple of things. What are you? I'm assuming you're going to be more involved in the next Dreamboat with Ian Walker because you kind of hinted at that the last time we spoke about it. When the first one came out, I was like, are you going to have a part in this? And you were like, not in this one. So you suggested that you might be getting involved in the next one.
I don't know about Walker stuff. He likes to keep it pretty like tight. Like he has like a specific like amount of people he likes to like film with,
Right.
like even smaller than our crew. And yeah, I don't want to like I don't know. They got some trips planned, a couple of them. I know Josiah will be involved with that, and some others. But I'm definitely going to be. Hopefully, I get to meet up with them. But if not, I know I'm going to be stacking like definitely another full length. I'm assuming we're working on that. Like whether we're like I don't know, we're just stacking for now. And then I've got another special thing in the works. I can't say too much, but I will say that it's like a huge opportunity for me and with one of my sponsors, and I won't say who, but
It's all right because I'll say it. I'm going to guess it's a pro wheel, but okay.
you can say what you will, but it'll be out like soon
Right.
ish. So that won't be long from now, and I'm gonna try and film a thing for whatever that may be, and then yeah, film work on the next full length with the boys. Like hopefully we'll take a little longer this time so we can really make it extra special, and work on planning a wedding with my fiance.
Nice.
Shout out
Congratulations.
to Stephanie. So that's cool because we just got engaged recently. So I should throw that out there, and that's coming up soon. And then yeah, I just think we're just gonna keep filming and hopefully for as long as we can. And yeah, also shout out to all the boys. I want to say that much. Sam, Carter, the twins, Neo and Avery, Brown, Dustin Spangler, fucking everyone. Josiah, Jake. Yeah, everyone. Hopefully I'm not missing anyone, but yeah, like pretty much shout out to all them for all they do and like pointing a camera at me and like motivating me. They're the best people ever. So, and shout out to you for this.
No,
And I'm sorry I've
thanks for
been
coming on.
talking so long. I didn't realize like
Not at all. I'm perfectly happy with the amount of time. That's awesome. Yeah, it sounds like you've got a lot of stuff planned for this year. Can't wait to see what you come out with next. Like I said, love the illegal smiles sections, chance of rain sections, the promo that you had for blank. So yeah, really looking forward to what comes next. Just take care of yourself and try and stay safe. No bad slams, please.
I'll do the best I can, man.
Right. I'll let you go on with the
All
rest
right,
of your day. Thanks for taking
all
the
right,
time to do
buddy.
this.
Have a good night.
Lay down in the tall grass.